Caitlin Clark herself. I'd hope to share a better update, but I will not be returning to play the season. I spent hours in the gym every day with the singular goal of getting back out there. Disappointed isn't a big enough word to describe how I'm feeling. I want to thank everyone who has had my back through all this uncertainty. This has been incredibly frustrating, but even in the bad, there is good. And the way the fans continue to show up for me and for the Fever brought me so much joy and important perspective. I'm so proud of how this team has only gotten stronger through adversity this year. Now it's time to close out the season and claim our...
The WNBA just got hit with a harsh dose of reality. What happens when Caitlin Clark isn't on the floor? Ratings are sinking, ticket sales are crashing, and the league's momentum feels like it's slipping away, unless you're the Indiana Fever.
So it's official. The most heartbreaking news for Indiana Fever fans that could come of the season, but Caitlin Clark will not be returning to the 2025 WNBA season. She took the liberty of posting it herself because there were many people asking to hear from Caitlin Clark, to hear how she felt about the entire situation, because a lot of people felt like it was the front office that was kind of making...
One season-ending injury announcement from Caitlin Clark later, and that historic growth slogan the league was pushing sounds more like something scribbled together in panic. WNBA owners aren't just nervous now. They're flat out in meltdown mode.
The norm for the WNBA is being largely ignored by the media. Largely ignored by sports media. Not considered a real professional league, to the point where people didn't even know it existed until CC22. That's just a fact. You can't believe how many times I have people come in the chat and say, I didn't even know that there was a professional women's basketball league until Caitlin. Yeah, it's the...
Quick reminder, if you're enjoying this, make sure to subscribe. Clark is officially out for the rest of the season, and suddenly league execs are scrambling to put out fires. After months of vague updates and no timetable statements, she finally said the words they dreaded. I'm not coming back this year.
The Fever and Clark saying that she tried to get back on the floor. It appears that she just ran out of time, not able to get enough confidence back in her body as the season wraps up and the playoffs are likely about to begin for Indiana. I mean, it's a gut punch that basically encompasses an entire season of them. The Fever have lost so many players to injury, but obviously none bigger than Clark. And there was such a wait for this second season after her magnificent rookie season. And then, the anticipation of her possibly coming back only...
The Fever can stop pretending there's a chance. No schedule, no timeline, just an enormous gap where the league's biggest draw used to be. And that sense of panic is spreading fast through every corporate office tied to the WNBA.
When she was supposed to return versus the Minnesota Lynx, supposedly... And then the Scott Agneses and all them start talking about she suffered a bone bruise in Phoenix. I told y'all it was a wrap. It was done. It was done. They knew it. And I believe they've known far longer. They have known. They've kept us fans in the dark, and it sucks. It absolutely sucks. Man, I was so looking forward to watching Caitlin Clark play this season. Now we have to wait an entire offseason, and we don't even know what's going to happen. There might be a lockout. There might not even be a 2026 season.
Let's break down the numbers. With Clark healthy, the Fever averaged about 1.26 million viewers a game. As soon as she went down on July 15th with a groin injury, national broadcasts plummeted to 847,000. That's a 53% freefall. And here's the kicker. That was back when people still thought she might return. Now that it's official she's done for the season, the ratings crash is about to get even uglier.
This has been a huge disaster as far as public perception for the WNBA. An entirely new group of people started tuning in to this league for one player and one player only. In fact, so many new people tuned into this league, the viewership for the Caitlin Clark games largely surpassed anything else going on in the WNBA. I would argue that the amount of Caitlin Clark fans are at least 3x the amount of
Without Caitlin Clark, the WNBA doesn't feel like a league. It feels like a support group wondering why fans stopped caring. They tried to prove they could survive her absence, and the results were brutal. NBA TV ratings fell 40% when she wasn't playing. Non-Clark games averaged 549,000 viewers, still 37% lower than her games. The contrast is almost laughable. And the panic isn't just about one player. It's about the entire marketing foundation falling apart.
Because she knows just how much she means to everybody that buys those tickets. I mean, I would say at least like 90 to maybe not 95, but like 90% of the people in arenas were there to see Caitlin Clark, which of course they became fans of the Fever afterwards. But you know, Caitlin Clark is the draw. And then here's this one where she's actually in her street clothes. And yeah, these are, you know, pretty heartfelt photos. Her in the huddle with her teammates. But I gotta say, this was quite a year. I mean, there came a certain point where people, including myself, were just like, what is actually going on? I think that it's time. It was definitely time.
Commissioner Kathy Engelbert can call her the most popular athlete in America, all she wants, but that comes with risk. When the league lives and dies with one person's health, every injury feels like an existential crisis. Clark didn't just boost the WNBA. She became the line between relevance and irrelevance. And without her, the Fever, 21-20 and hanging on to the 8th seed, probably won't even make the playoffs. The team that was supposed to contend now looks lost without their floor leader and ticket-selling superstar.
Here, Indiana Fever will be either a first-round exit or may not make the playoffs. I really believe that Mystics game is a trap game. Also, I don't know if they have all the pieces anymore now with Chloe Bibby out for the rest of the season, another random player, but we drafted her. We kind of know her, but still, she wasn't part of the team for the majority of the season. And then Aerial Powers and Odyssey Sims and Shea Petty. Who are these people? You know what I'm saying? The Indiana Fever are no longer the Indiana.
The financial hit is staggering. Sports economist Ryan Brewer estimated her impact at nearly $1 billion this season, between TV, tickets, merchandise, and tourism. Other players are still trying to figure out how to turn Instagram likes into revenue, while Clark was single-handedly changing the economics of women's basketball. And let's be real, she took harder hits than anyone else. The targeting was obvious, the physicality was constant, and the league failed to protect its biggest star. Now they're stuck with empty seats and canceled broadcasts.
The WNBA ratings' worst nightmare just came true because it was just announced that Caitlin Clark will be out for the rest of the season. She's only played 13 games this season, and her most recent injury, which happened back in July, was a groin injury. The craziest part about all of this has been the reporting around her injury. The team has never given her a timetable for return, and literally up until today, the team had been reporting that she was still trying to get back on the court this season. The Fever only have 3 regular season games left in the season before playoffs. Some fans were even speculating that they've just been stringing fans along the whole time because they know that ratings and attendance would drop once they announce that she's out, which is also so ironic that they announced it the day that football season started.
Here's the truth. During Clark's absence, the WNBA tried to pump up rivalries and new stars, but fans didn't buy it. Angel Reese's games without Clark drew crowds that felt like a JV scrimmage. The Chicago Sky, who built their entire hype around being Clark's rival, suddenly played in front of 6,000 fans instead of 20,000. When Clark missed their June matchup, ticket prices dropped from $86 to $25 in less than 2 days. That's not a dip, that's a collapse. The Washington Mystics even moved a game to Baltimore to cash in on Clark's draw, only to watch ticket prices sink from $41 to $14 when she didn't play.
This season has been a complete train wreck. This season's been a complete disaster. We got the GOAT, who only played 13 games, missed basically the whole season. DeWanna Bonner scammed us. Natasha Howard basically scammed us. Stephanie White's a liar. Amber Cox is a liar. Kelly Crosskoff's a liar. Now we have to go a whole offseason with the front office we don't trust, we don't believe in, we can't believe anything they say, and we don't know what's really going to happen with Caitlin Clark's health.
The emotional fallout is just as bad. Fans who saved for tickets, planned trips, and tuned in every night are now saying the exact words the league feared. If she's not playing, I'm not watching. The casual fans who came to women's basketball because of Clark's college run, Gone. Sponsors who jumped on her hype? Rethinking things. TV networks who built playoff coverage around Fever games? They're staring down a ratings nightmare. Liberty versus Lynx might be great basketball, but the casual crowd only cared about Clark versus everyone.
Caitlin Clark was hurt after that Liberty game. That's when they should have said, we need to wait this out until the All-Star break. But instead, they worried about their ticket sales, TV ratings, and all this stuff. So they actually had Caitlin Clark come back a couple weeks earlier than expected, and I think that's the real reason why she's out. They mismanaged this entire season. I don't respect the GM. I don't respect the president anymore. I really don't respect the coach. They all lied on false pretense. That's all they did. They kept lying and kept stringing Caitlin Clark like a carrot on a string, and all these fans kept going to the games hoping that she'll come.
And it's not just basketball. ESPN and ABC saw ratings fall 55% during her last absence. Now they're staring at a full playoff run without their top attraction. These networks built their coverage around Clark, and now they'll find out why they needed her more than she needed them. But here's the wild part. Clark timed her announcement perfectly. She could have dragged it out, let fans hold on to false hope. Instead, she ended the suspense with one statement and sent the league into chaos. The Fever's title hopes are gone, and the WNBA just lost its golden goose.
Only a huge blow for the Fever, but also for the entire WNBA. Caitlin was out with an injury back in June. Viewership dropped over 50% across the league. That's the kind of effect that she has on things. And it seems like from her post and how they announced it, Caitlin was the one that was trying so hard to get back on the court. She has traveled to every single away game. She's always meeting with fans, taking photos, signing autographs, doing all of the things because she knows how many people come out specifically to see her. But I'm really interested to see what viewership and attendance looks like now that it's official that she's done.
The league spent all season bragging about growth beyond one player, but Clark's announcement exposed the truth. Without her, the WNBA is back to being a niche product. 10,000-seat arenas half full and TV numbers barely registering. And this whole thing was preventable. If they had managed her minutes, protected her better, and put her health above short-term profits, maybe she'd still be playing. Instead, they let her get hacked every game until she couldn't go anymore. Now they've wrecked the one player who made them must-watch.
This has been a full circle moment for the WNBA. With all the chatter of Kathy Engelbert saying, oh, if one player gets injured, one player, well, you have it. That one player got injured. And now you have it. There's no conversation around the league. No positive, no negative, no conversation at all. The only media talking about the WNBA are the content creators, are the YouTubers, are people with podcasts, people with their own shows, etc., etc. But you go on to ESPN, nobody's talking about the W. You go on to Fox Sports, nobody's talking about the W. The WNBA has managed to turn off a fan base that would have elevated this league.
So yeah, fans are checking out. Sponsors are pausing. Networks are bracing for disaster. And league executives are realizing the truth. Caitlin Clark wasn't just their star, she was the product. The WNBA wanted to prove it could thrive without one player. Her season-ending decision just proved the opposite.
I've got a couple of things. I've got my dude, Jason Whitlock, saying he's done. He's out. We've got Colin Cowherd saying, you know what? Guess what I didn't talk about on my show this year? The WNBA. Guess why? He just come out and said it yesterday. Because Caitlin Clark was not playing. That's why. He said, I led my show, my biggest, largest national sports radio show in the country. I led my show with Caitlin Clark 6 times last year. I mean, you don't lead a show with anybody.
At the end of the day, this might be the harshest thing Clark could do to the league, and also the most powerful. By stepping away, she exposed how fragile everything really was. Now she gets to watch from the sidelines as ratings crash, sponsors pull back, and the WNBA scrambles to survive without her. The league built everything around one person, failed to protect her, and now has to live with the fallout. Spoiler alert, it's going to be ugly.